million home is now in pieces. Firefighters are investigating the cause of this explosion that happened at this home. 2 people had to be pulled from the debris. A man is in the hospital fighting for his life, and a woman is dead. Police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened this morning in Uptown Charlotte at this apartment complex. 1 person is dead, and 3 people are in the hospital recovering. Keep pounding, Carolina Panther fans. Organizers are here setting up for the big pep rally happening later on today, and fans are slowly starting to trickle in. Businesses like these are starting to pop up everywhere in Uptown Charlotte. But this is no surprise. A recent study states that Charlotte is the 3rd fastest growing city in the United States. Columbia is one of the many cities hosting a Pride Festival, bringing thousands of people from different backgrounds and cultures together to celebrate the beauty of life and love. I'm outside of Regal Columbia Cinema, where they are currently playing The Joker. Now, this movie has sparked up a lot of controversy due to the 2012 mass shooting that happened in Aurora, Colorado. The sun is shining over here at the greenhouse, and it is so beautiful out right now. But you are definitely right. When I walked out the door this morning, I was freezing. Cold temperatures are expected to last throughout the weekend. You may want to bundle up if you plan on going anywhere tonight, because temperatures are expected to fall to the lower 30s. The holiday season is a time for lending a helping hand. Lighthouse for Life did just that by hosting their annual holiday market in hopes of raising awareness about sex trafficking in order to help victims like Heather Cook.
For 18 years, from the age of 14 to 32, I was involved in human trafficking.
Cook was in search of the love and affirmation that she never received. One day, that so-called love and affirmation found her.
I had a gentleman who approached me at the age of 14 who told me things that, I wanted to hear from other reliable sources, and told me that he would help me and no bad things would ever happen to me again, and he would take care of me.
Investigative Officer Morris Davis says that sex trafficking does not just look one way.
You've seen it one way, and think that that's the only way. It's many different forms of sex trafficking, and a lot of the suspects, they're not that person who's that stranger. It's always someone that they normally know.
Cook has been out of that life for 11 years, and her exit of escape was the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
We were in Charleston at the time. I had been purchased for a significant amount of money. Someone I didn't know, someone he didn't know, and I was scared.
That night, Cook talked him into letting her go to the store to get a carry-on bag, and a cop was behind her at a traffic light. She was wanted by Lexington County Probation, Parole, and Pardon Services.
As I went to go pull off from the light, I didn't turn on my blinker, and the officer stopped me.
Cook then told the officers who she was and got arrested. Since then, Cook has become part of Lighthouse for Life so that she could help educate others about the dangers of sex trafficking in order to prevent others from experiencing the same trauma that she did. Jennifer Thompson, CEO of Lighthouse for Life, urges people to stay alert because sex trafficking is very common.
You need to do your research, and you need to vet people, and you need to take your time in relationships and not just jump ship with the first person that comes along that might be your magical savior or whatever.
One of the biggest tips for staying safe that law enforcement officers advise is to be careful of who you meet online. This means do not accept any random friend request. Be careful of what you send and or post, and you may not think that this is a big deal, but do not answer any random video calls.
Buddying up with friends, not to be by yourself so much, and just basically be aware of your surroundings.
Cook says that she is still in the constant process of healing, but has a few words of wisdom to victims everywhere.
Well, there's hope. You are not in a situation that can't change.
For Carolina News, I'm Taelore Hicks.
Is something that people struggle with. So today, this conference.
Lester Young is changing the way we view ex-cons. At 17 years old, he was convicted of possession of crack cocaine and was sentenced to 90 days in prison.
Did not get the lessons that I needed at 17. Fast forward 18 months later, I was convicted of murder.
In 1992, Young shot and killed someone over a drug dispute and was sentenced to life in prison. 3 years into his incarceration, he realized that he was ready to change his life and do something different.
And that different meant taking responsibility for the actions that led to the incarceration and seeing how I can change the narrative.
In prison, Young came up with programs that focused heavily on emotional wellness, entrepreneurship, personal development, and financial literacy. Shortly after his release in 2013, Young's vision came to life. He created an organization called Path to Redemption, helping people who have been incarcerated re-enter society in a beneficial aspect. The Path to Redemption Reentry Conference is happening right here at Benedict College. The goal of this conference is to provide resources to those formerly incarcerated as well as their loved ones. Young started his outreach by sharing his story with the youth to remove the stigma.
Every individual, in spite of their crime, deserve to find their own path to redemption.
While Young was in prison, he inspired many people, such as David Anthony.
I remember when Brother Lester was devising his first, thoughts about the program many years ago, and he's an inspiration to me, and the program is inspirational to others like myself.
The best advice Young has to give people in and out of prison?
Find your why and be connected to that, and take your time and energy and focus into your why. And once you find that why, no matter how deep that hole you may be in, it will be that thing that will pull you out of a situation.
For Carolina News, I'm Taelore Hicks.
Getting things started on Friday, kicking off the weekend with the
You
game.
may know her as popular radio host and TV personality, Beezy Baby. But Brandy Henshaw is also just one other person who beat the odds.
I was in and out of foster care, detention centers my whole juvenile life, and then became an adult. I had 3 more children, ended up getting into a lot of trouble, and went to prison. Was in Muncie State Correctional Institution, and then a halfway house in Philadelphia, and then came back to the real world and started getting my life together.
But it wasn't that simple. Henshaw faced many struggles after incarceration when trying to enter the real world. Director of Marketing and Development at the Alston Wilkes Society, Brian Wingard, says that is common for most former ex-convicts.
The main stress that we're going to see for folks who are returning from prison is going to be a financial problem that they run into. Securing finances, securing housing, having a stable life. The leading cause of recidivism is financial stress.
Although Henshaw struggled heavily with financial stress and finding public assistance, the biggest struggle that she faced was internal.
There's one voice saying, you've really got to go after this new life that you think you deserve, and the other voice is saying, you don't even know what that life looks like.
Henshaw knew that her only options were to sink or swim. After an internship and a few jobs later, Henshaw became a radio personality for 103.9 in Columbia, wrote a book, and hosts her own segments every Thursday on Watch Fox.
I kept flipping through the radio station until something was clear. And the first thing that was clear came to a commercial, and the guy in the commercial said, do you think you have what it takes to be the next radio personality? So I was like, yes.
Henshaw will continue to use her platform and gift to help people who are battling something bigger than them. For Carolina News, I'm Taelore Hicks.
Begin at 5 p.m. for Family Fun Night.
Cleanup is taking place right now in this neighborhood. The flood was so bad that it damaged many homes like this one. Some people still can't get to their homes because the roads are so bad off.
A nightmare. We've lost all of our stuff.
People who live on Riverside Drive are devastated. The flood ruined their homes. Michelle Beelman lives on this street. She's in cleanup mode, and it's going to take months.
The floors are covered in mud and it's still all soaking wet. You open kitchen drawers, water's just pouring out. All of our clothes are soaked. We're hoping we can wash them and save some.
Michelle says it's hard to accept she doesn't have a place to call home right now.
We're really lucky that we're young and able to hopefully bounce back from this, but I think we'll be tearing this house down and rebuilding with something much taller.
American Red Cross doesn't have an exact number of how many people were displaced, but they're providing them with temporary housing. Reporting in Charlotte, I'm Taelore Hicks. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us. I'm Taelore Hicks. Rideshare services are very popular, but just how safe are they? Uber released their first U.S. safety report, which stated that there were over 3,000 sexual assaults in 2018.